I pulled the deposit on my niece's quinceañera dress after her mother bragged to the seamstress that we'd finally stepped up. So my niece Marisol is turning 15 this spring, and her quince has been the only thing anyone in my family's talked about for months. Her mom, my sister-in-law Yvette, has a whole vision. Ballroom, a court of 14 kids, a photographer, the works. My brother Danny works construction and makes decent money, but not that money. So a few weeks back, Yvette pulls me aside at a barbecue and asks if I'd cover the dress. I said sure. Honestly, I've always liked Marisol. She's a good kid, never asks for anything. I told Yvette I'd handle the dress and the shoes, and I meant it. The dress alone was a custom thing from this seamstress in the city, hand-beaded, and the deposit to reserve the slot and start the beading was $1,800. I put it down myself on my card right there at the shop. She hugged me. I felt good about it. Here's the thing though. I asked one thing. I told Yvette, just keep it between us. I don't want it turning into a whole thing. I'm not doing it for credit. My mom already thinks I'm the favorite uncle and I didn't want the rest of the family measuring who gave what. Yvette said, of course, of course. 2 weeks later, I go back to the shop with Marisol and Yvette for the second fitting to make the next payment. I'm standing there and the seamstress, this older lady named Rosa, is pinning the bodice. And Yvette's chatting with her all proud and she goes, you know, we told ourselves this year we'd finally step up and do it right. Give her the quince she deserves. We stepped up. We, like it was her and Danny's money on the table. Rosa smiles and says, it's beautiful when a family invests in their girl. And Yvette just soaks it up, right? We didn't want to cut any corners this time. I didn't say anything. I just stood there feeling my face get warm. Because this time and finally told me everything. This wasn't a slip. She'd been telling people this. The stepping up story. And I was the checkbook she wrote it with. On the drive back I was quiet. Yvette goes, you okay? I said I was fine. I wasn't fine. I got home and I sat with it for a day. Then I called Rosa directly. I asked her, plain, whose card was the deposit on? She checked and said mine. I asked if it was refundable. She said the beading hadn't started yet. So yes, minus a small fee for the fabric she'd already cut. I told her to refund it. Then I called Danny. Not Yvette, Danny. I said, hey, I pulled the deposit on the dress. He goes, you what? Why? I said, because I paid for it quietly as a gift. And your wife's out here telling the seamstress you two finally stepped up. So step up. It's your daughter's dress. He got quiet. Then he said, come on, man. She didn't mean it like that. I said, she said it twice. To a stranger. While I was standing right there holding the receipt. He said, you're really gonna do this over a word? I said, it's not a word, Danny. I asked for one thing. Keep it between us. She couldn't do it because the whole point for her was somebody thinking it was her. Yvette called me that night. Fast before I even said hello, she goes, you're seriously punishing Marisol because of your ego. I said, I'm not punishing anybody. The dress is still available. You can put the deposit down. You've been telling everyone you already did. She said, that's different and you know it. I said, then tell Rosa the truth. Tell her who's actually paying. You do that and I'll cover the whole thing, dress, shoes, all of it. Say it out loud in the shop. Silence on the line. Then she said, you want me to embarrass myself in front of her. I said, I want you to stop lying in front of her. There's a difference. She hung up. My mom called the next morning, of course. Said I was being petty, that it's a child's quinceañera, that I should think about Marisol. I told her I'd already offered to pay for everything. All Yvette had to do was tell the truth. Mom went quiet, then said, well, that's a lot to ask of somebody's pride. I said, it cost me $1,800 and I didn't even blink. Her pride's worth more than that? Marisol texted me that afternoon. Just, are you mad at me? I told her no, never, that this was between the grown-ups and she'd have a beautiful day no matter what. She sent back a heart. The quince is in 6 weeks. Rosa's still holding the slot. Yvette hasn't called Rosa.